I see that Spooderman is here. Hello, how are you? Have you seen the announcements from D23? I'm just about to get started in a second. Need sleep. Well, okay. Well, it's nice to see that you stopped by. I will be talking about Toy Story 5 though, but it'll be a second. But it's nice that you dropped by. Yeah, just waiting for Instagram to upload my reel, and then I'll get started. Okay, so yeah, just get my pad stored away. So what's up, everybody? Blood Moon Bobby here. So welcome to my stream regarding the announcements Disney made at D23. So I was kind of torn. I thought that I was gonna do like multiple videos reacting to the trailers, but like what I often do whenever Disney does any of these kind of big announcement events, I thought that I'd rather just do a stream talking about just my sort of quick thoughts on the announcements themselves. I mean, because of YouTube's copyright policy, I don't feel good about reacting to the trailers themselves, especially in a stream. So I'm just gonna stick to just like kind of just showing the post and just giving you guys my quick thoughts on what do I think of it and so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's start off with Mufasa. In which, by the way, some of these like announcements are regarding movies that I've already talked about, but I'll just give my quick thoughts on them. So, yeah, the Mufasa movie, not exactly looking forward to that one, just because even though I do think Mufasa is one of the greatest Disney characters, I never felt that he was like a character that absolutely needed his own backstory. I thought that what they showed about the lessons he learned from his father and so forth were just fine in the original Lion King, the 1994 film. So I don't know, I did watch the trailer for this. Looked okay. The special effects still look impressive. It's just like a lot of these sequels to Disney live action remakes, I'm not really sure if it's the most necessary story per se, but they're still coming out with this movie. Comes out on December 20th. If you are looking forward to this movie, good for you. um yeah, I guess it helps. I can't show the trailer, but I can like show snippets of it. I think like snippets will be fine. It's just that if I play it with the audio, YouTube's copyright system might go nuts. So but yeah, you can see here a clip of Mufasa with the character who would become Scar. I will say, come to think of it, I do think it's interesting that they're doing the thing where at first they're brothers that get along, but anybody who's seen the 1994 Lion King will remember that, to say the least, Mufasa and Scar don't exactly get along. I won't spoil it for anybody else who may have not seen The Lion King, but yeah, so I'm kind of interested to see what causes their relationship to crumble, and hopefully it's not just a matter of the character that becomes Scar got like really power hungry or something like that. So I don't know. I will say, in terms of the Lion King remake, I did watch it. It's an okay movie, but it definitely lacks a lot of the sort of character expressions from the animated film because they tried to go all realistic. That means especially the musical numbers. It doesn't. You can't really get those really expressive characters, or at least the filmmakers feel like they can't do that, or else it's not going to look realistic. So yeah. So those are just my quick thoughts on Mufasa. So moving right along. So more Mufasa. I did see a little clip from Snow White, but we'll get to that when we get there. And oh yeah, Tron, Ares. When it comes to PG, are we talking about the rating for the Mufasa remake? Yeah. Okay. Here's a another movie that I haven't actually seen the other Tron movies, but it's a franchise I wanted to get into, especially since they are making a new sequel. So yeah, Tron Ares, the third film in the franchise, coming off the heels of the original one, and Tron Legacy, which I still actually like to listen to the music from Tron Legacy, the music that Daft Punk did for that film. But as you can see, this time Nine Inch Nails, will be doing the music, presumably because Daft Punk has split up. And if you actually watch the Paris Olympics, you'll notice that Daft Punk didn't do any sort of performance, not at the opening ceremony, not at the closing ceremony. So I think that's why they went with Nine Inch Nails. So I'm curious about this myself. I know like the basics of Tron. Like I know in the first movie, who is it? Jeff Bridges plays Kevin Flynn, and he gets sucked into a computer game where you're going around like on these motorcycle-like vehicles called light cycles, and you attack your enemies by throwing these laser discs, not the literal laser disc, but these discs with like neon lights. So, um, I don't know. I don't want to make promises. I at least want to watch the first two Tron movies. I don't, I'm not sure if I'm going to do reviews of them, but yeah, I mean, if anything, I just kind of feel like happy that the fans get another Tron movie, especially since it took many years for Legacy to come out. I think it was like literally over like a 25-year wait between the first movie and Tron Legacy, and now Tron Ares is coming out. I do remember there were a lot of people like who had their doubts that would Disney ever do another Tron movie, because even though it certainly has a fan base, I think Disney was worried that they were going to get in like a Blade Runner 2049 situation where there's a big fan base, but it's not going to be enough to get like the box office numbers that they're used to with like a Marvel movie or a Pixar movie. So hoping for the best. If you would like to see me do reviews of the first two Tron movies, let me know in the chat. It's something that I would definitely be up for. It would also probably make a nice cosplay someday. Then we get to Snow White, which, as I said before, I can't show the trailer, but I did watch it. I know lots of feathers got ruffled with Snow White, and now it's finally coming out March 21st, 2025. And by the way, Tron Ares is scheduled for release on October 10th, 2025. But controversy aside, when I watched the trailer for Snow White, I just kind of took it as like, any other Disney live action remake trailer, and that the trailer itself, looks decent. I like, the look of the movie and such. It definitely reminds me of the 1937 movie. It's just a matter of, will it be, executed properly with the, story and so on and so forth. So, yeah, all I could really say is I just hope so. Um, yeah, kind of hesitant. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna do a review of it. I did watch the trailer and, it was all right. Like I said, it's kind of on par with the other Disney live action remake trailers. I just hope at the very least the movie itself is good. So, moving on. And as I said before, don't really want to play any of the trailers here for the sake of copyright. Lilo and Stitch. This was actually something that surprised me just because I was kind of worried excuse me, that Stitch was going to look creepy. I thought that, it was going to be like the Sonic movie all over again, where the initial design doesn't look, it looks really, like, creepy and ugly. But the Stitch that they show here, I don't think he actually looks too bad. He actually looks much better than I expected. So, again, I just generally hope that the live action Lilo and Stitch will be at least a decent movie. I'll go as far as to say that I don't hate the Disney live action remakes as much as a lot of people. I just kind of, have a sort of like opinion on a lot of them. Like I've seen the Beauty and the Beast remake, Lion King remake, the Cinderella remake was one of the better ones. The only remake that I didn't enjoy whatsoever was the Mulan remake, just because I didn't like the action. I thought the editing was too hectic and the acting was really dry. So that's the only remake that I just, there's very little that I enjoyed. But I'm hoping in the case of Lilo and Stitch, it could be, a bit of a different story where this one is more enjoyable to me. Especially because when I think about, like, I've heard people say, and I agree with this, like, when I think back to, like, the Beauty and the Beast and Mulan remakes, I do agree that some of the acting, particularly from the lead characters, can come off as kind of, dry and bland. And in the case of Lilo and Stitch, since a lot of the characters, are very, expressive and active, I'm hoping that's not the case. The case of Lilo and Stitch. So comes out summer 2025. It is one that I would definitely consider reviewing. Certainly. I mean, I guess I'm kind of doing a trailer reaction here by telling you guys, hey, Stitch doesn't look, at least not as scary as I, was afraid. Just because when I look at Stitch and see, like, it has lots of fur and the beady eyes, that could easily turn into like a really scary design in a, for a CG character in a live action world. But I'm glad for this character. Stitch actually looks pretty good. So, let me see. Okay, so I think that'll about do, because now it's getting into Young Woman and the Sea, which that movie's already out. So, yeah, so these are some of the announcements. I probably should have a bit of a disclaimer. I should start off by saying that I wasn't going to talk about every single announcement because I don't have much to say about the Avatar sequel and Freakier Friday. I did watch the movie, the version of Freaky Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan back when I was a kid, but I don't remember the movie too well. Like, not enough for me to form a coherent opinion, so I would have to go back and watch it. So yeah, that's those are the announcements from Disney. But honestly, I think the really, really good announcements are the ones that came out of Pixar. It's kind of funny. The ones that don't have new trailers happen to be the ones that I actually am looking forward to the most. Although I'm sure in time they're going to release trailers. So you got the rides that they're announcing. Know that Elio is still on the way, summer 2025. See that Zoe Saldana from Guardians of the Galaxy is joining the cast. I did watch the trailer for this one too. I wasn't the biggest fan of it because I was really concerned that it was just going to be a liar revealed story, because it just showed the lead character pretending to be like the ambassador of Earth, and these and the aliens, or say just believe him. So since they've had time to work on this movie, because I think they had to delay the release date due to the writer's strike, I hope it gives time for them to improve the story. I mean, of course, I haven't seen the movie yet, but the first trailer just gave me this impression that it's going to be a liar revealed story, which, I mean, I know Pixar technically has done that before and have even done it well. Like, I think of movies like Ratatouille, for instance, but I just hope that there'll be a lot more to it, and that it'll be a movie that, in terms of, like, how good it is, it's more akin to something like, Soul than something like Onward. Which, Onward, I don't hate Onward, but I just didn't think that the a story stood out that much, although I do enjoy the ending of that film. So I hope for the best for Leo. And then this one I think surprised me, because this was pretty unexpected for me. Incredibles 3 is officially in the works. Definitely, in terms of, like, the Pixar movies that have a lot of sequel potential, I agree with a lot of people that Incredibles is one of them, especially since they made the second one. Second one I didn't find as dramatic as the first. I thought it was an okay movie. I saw it in theaters. The special effects from the screensaver, really, kind of, hurt my eyes a bit, as the warning said. But it's an okay movie, not one of Pixar's strongest. The first one, I get the sense that if I watch the first one again, the first one is one of those movies where a lot of the, like, grittiness would stand out to me more, just because, I think about how in the first movie, just how many characters the villain Syndrome had axed off, and just, as a kid, I was just kind of like, oh, that sucks. But now when I think about it, it actually makes Syndrome one of the more diabolical Pixar villains. But if you've seen that movie, you know that there's no way he can come back. So, kind of curious to see how it goes. What's it going to be about this time? And this is just me completely speculating. Obviously I don't have any, proof of this, but I kind of wonder if, with the first movie, they focused a lot on, Mr. Incredible, the Bob Parr, aka Bob Parr. And then the second movie, it focused on Elastigirl. Could this new movie focus on the kids now? I remember Violet and Dash. Like, is it going to be, this time it's the kids teaming up and maybe, like, having to work with Jack? I don't know. So, I mean, there isn't really a whole ton of details to go off of. Like, it literally, was just announced on August 9th. So, but yeah, I mean, just judging by how much I have to say on a movie where there aren't a whole ton of details, not even a trailer, yeah, I'm, interested in seeing what will happen when Incredibles 3 comes out. So yeah, we talked about Elio coming out in summer 2025. This is probably the most original movie that I'll be talking about here. So, Pixar announced this new movie called Hoppers with Jon Hamm, Bobby Monahan, and Piper Curda. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. Scheduled to come out in spring 2026. It's funny, the title. When I think Hoppers, when it comes to Pixar, my first thought goes to the villain from A Bug's Life, but I get the sense this has nothing to do with Bug's Life. It's just that the name of the movie just happens to be really similar to the name of the villain from A Bug's Life. So I don't know, there isn't like a ton of details here. They show like this image here. You got human character and what looks like a beaver, I think. Maybe that's why they call the movie Hoppers. I don't know for sure, but it's something that, I'm curious, and just in the sense that, it's nice to see, Pixar try something that isn't a sequel. Because I do look forward to their, sequels, but I also like when Pixar, comes out with original movies like, Luca, Turning Red. Soul is my favorite Pixar movie. So, yeah, It's kind of funny. I'm noticing a theme here is a lot of the sequels because I'm looking at, we're going to talk about Toy Story 5 here, but I'm noticing like quite a few of the movies that I am excited for to an extent are like sequels to movies where I might like the earlier entries, but I'm not a fan of the predecessors. So Toy Story 5 coming out summer 2026. I guess it's kind of surprising that Woody, Buzz, and Jessie are all back together. Not to get too specific if you haven't seen Toy Story 4, but since, all those characters are so famous, I feel like it's kind of unthinkable that, Woody would never see Buzz, or Jessie or Rex, or any of those characters ever again. So, but, yeah, I mean, when I think about the Toy Story films, I hope it's not mid, because I thought Toy Story 4 was mid. My general opinion on the Toy Story movies, I like the first one. The second one was great. The third one is one of my favorite Pixar movies. Might even, actually, no, Soul took the place of my favorite Pixar movie. But Toy Story 3, it's definitely up there. Like, I'm one of those people that cries when I watch it, like, every time. Interesting thing about me, it's not the scene where they're getting close to that incinerator that makes me cry. It's an intense scene, don't get me wrong. It's just that I don't tend to cry when those kind of scenes. I feel more like, worried than sad in really intense scenes where it's like, oh my god, the characters look like they're, going to die. The scene that actually gets me is the very end of the third movie where you see Andy for the last time, and especially growing up as somebody, with my share of, stuffed animals, and I still collect Olympic mascots. It really, like, I related to that a lot, and even now I'm getting emotional, especially because, Toy Story 3, it came out in freshman year when I was in the my freshman year of high school. So I wasn't, ready to go to college by any means, but I was certainly, getting close to that turning point in my life and just wondering, how much of my childhood will I be able to take with me? Am I just going to have to leave it behind like Andy or, something like that? But I don't know. I kind of want to give anytime a Toy Story movie comes out, I do want to give a chance. I mean, if anything, for nostalgia's sake, but I just hope as a standalone movie that it'll be better than the fourth one. You could see here, I did hear, just judging by the screenshot, you see this kid on like what looks like an iPad, and you see the toys looking off in the distance. So I heard somewhere that this Toy Story movie is going to tackle this whole idea of how, kids nowadays, I sound like an old man, are, more into, technology, like their iPads or playing on their parents' smartphones as opposed to toys. So I don't know, that kind of premise, I'm just kind of like, I've seen it, not, I don't know if I'd say I've seen it done before. It's just the kind of sense where you could tell Disney and Pixar are trying to latch on to what's a sort of, ongoing trend with the current generation of like, kids, and how a lot of them aren't playing with toys as much and they're just going to like iPads and smartphones. So, but maybe they'll find some creative way. I just noticed that Forky is in the background, so Forky is probably going to be returning as well. So all I could really do is hope for the best. I mean, I'm just hoping that, it'll be a better sequel than the fourth movie, because the fourth movie, I don't know, I just kind of found it, strange that they wanted to show that, Bonnie was already starting to, lose interest in Woody, and I just kind of felt like I was watching, in a sense, the third movie all over again. So, yeah, and also, I feel like the fourth movie, I could barely remember the villain of the fourth movie. It was like this, evil doll who got a good resolution, I'll give them credit that, but not as good a villain as somebody like, Sid or the Prospector or, Lotso. Like, those three are scary, like, villains. Like, I think I just wanted somebody that could still have, like, a sympathetic side. Like, I know, that was something that they did, especially with Lotso, and even the Prospector, where it's like they have like, their sentimental moments, but ultimately they turn into villains. So yeah, I think the villain in Toy Story will come back because he did not die. Which villain are we talking about here? Lotso? Because you mentioned Toy Story 3. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, if Lotso was coming back. There's no word on the villain. But it's interesting because I think Lotso is like like one of the better Toy Story villains. I'm just not really sure what they could do this time because I don't want Pixar to just rehash what he did with the evil daycare and like refusing to help Woody and his friends when they got really close to the incinerator. All right, so moving right along. Win or lose. I don't really have much to say. I don't really plan on reviewing that show. Uh, okay, so yeah, I think we've come to the end of the Pixar announcements at D23. Let me just double check and see if maybe there's some more because Disney has like a whole bunch of Twitter accounts, so maybe there's something that I didn't get to talk about, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Spooderman, what would you say was your favorite announcement? A lot of these rides. I mean, I would like to check them out, but I literally haven't been to Disneyland in like a decade. Like, might even literally be 10 years because the last time I went to Disneyland was my high school graduation. So yeah, Zootopia ride. And then Encanto is also getting a ride. This I thought was cool. Kiwi Kwan was conducting the Indiana Jones theme at D23, and I heard he's going to be playing a character in the Zootopia sequel. So, yeah, I've been following Key's story, and I'm just really glad that he got back into acting. He won an Oscar, and yeah, he gets to have a career once again in the field that he loves. So, talked about Mufasa. So I think there were even some announcements that, at least on the Twitter accounts that I'm looking at, I didn't get to see. So, yeah, I kind of mentioned before, Freaky Friday, I don't have much to say because, like I said, I don't remember the one with Lindsay Lohan, and Jamie Lee Curtis. Although, not that it's a bad movie, it's just that it's been many years since I've seen it. We got some Broadway announcements. Oh yeah, let's look at the Disney Animation Twitter page. Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about Moana 2. I'm kind of surprised that I almost forgot to talk about Moana 2, especially because I literally watched the trailer right before I started the stream up. The trailer looks decent. I mean, they're probably saving a lot of surprises for the movie itself, but at least they gave away some interesting plot details. So this time, Moana is looking to, unite the islands of the surrounding ocean together, and she discovers there's this faraway island, surrounded by like a storm where she could like break this curse that could unite all the islands, and Maui is coming back. So there's promise. There's things about that story that kind of remind me a little too much of like Raya and the Last Dragon, and even the whole idea of like an island surrounded by storm. It kind of reminds me of a castle surrounded by a storm in Castle in the Sky. So I don't know. Like I mean, of course, it could take inspiration from other movies. I just hope that it'll be creative and it's not just repeating itself. So yeah, I mean the trailer's okay. It's not a bad trailer in the least. I just hope that it'll still be creatively done, especially because when I did see Moana back when it first came out, I liked it. I didn't really see it as anything groundbreaking. I saw it as just kind of more really well told story, really nice animation, like almost like, especially with the environments look almost photorealistic. So it was really nice to get to see that on the big screen. So if anything, I'm just kind of hoping that the second Moana will be even better, because the first movie I thought was good, but not really earth-shattering in terms of storytelling, but it was still well acted and put together. I still like songs like You're Welcome and How Far I'll Go. So even the music, I think I like. I would even go as far as to say that I like the music in Moana more than I did with something like Encanto. So maybe there will be something creative when the movie comes out. So yeah, moving right along. See performances, but can't really talk about those because I don't want to get a copyright strike. So yeah, Frozen 3, which I knew was coming out 2027 probably. Knowing Frozen, movie that tends to be released around the holiday season, probably toward the end of 2027. I know the first Frozen, a lot of people say it's overplayed, but it's still one of my favorite Disney movies. I would say it was probably the last time I saw a Disney movie where I felt just like I was seeing something, as, big as like Beauty and the Beast or The Little Mermaid, because I really like, the twist they did in Frozen. I thought it was a really well-told story. I've only seen the beginning of Frozen 2, so that's a movie I could probably do a review of somewhere down the road. But yeah, so I'm just hoping that the third one is good. Something that kind of indicates to me about what the second one is like. I don't really hear people talk about Frozen 2 as much, so I don't know if that's a sign that maybe the second one isn't as good as the first movie or what. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments what you think of Frozen 2. I mean, I don't spoil it because I haven't. I've seen some spoilers, but I don't exactly know what's going on. So yeah, but I do like the first movie. I'll probably review the second one closer to when Frozen 3 is coming out. I'm on a bit of a resurgence when it comes to my YouTube videos, so all I could really do is just hope for the best for Frozen 3. Say that 5 times fast. Frozen 3, Frozen. Oh boy. And then Zootopia getting a sequel scheduled for release November 2025. And this is kind of an unpopular opinion, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the first Zootopia movie. I mean, because I do like this idea of, like, a movie that's centered around the problems of, like, modern society with things like discrimination and so forth. And in the case of the first Zootopia movie, it was, how do you deal with, like, predators, and do they get along with more tame animals, like, rabbits? Judy Hopps, the lead character, was a rabbit. And I just thought the ending was just, really crummy for a movie that, wanted to come off as something that wanted to address the more, like, realistic problems with society. I just thought the ending was it was just too out there and just, just kind of took me out of it. So not the biggest fan of the first Zootopia. I know there's a lot of fans. I have friends who really like the first Zootopia movie, so who knows, maybe the second movie. I mean, I'm certainly, not, I mean, if the second movie is good, then, I'm going to root for it. But yeah, I just hope for the best. Once again, comes out November 2025. So a little more than a year away, but I just hope that this movie is good. So I guess we got a little concept art here. I already talked about Moana 2. And singing songs. Kind of wish I could play them, but I can't do it due to copyright reasons once again. So yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe the D23 Twitter account will have some things that the other Disney accounts don't have. Just kind of want to take a quick peek. If there are announcements that I didn't get to, just let me know, and I'll see if I could look them up. Seeing a lot of announcements for the Disney theme parks, which I'm sure they'll be cool. It's just I'm not really sure if I'm gonna get the chance to go see them in person. And I don't just want to say, "Oh, it looks great," but I'm probably not gonna get to check them out. The Maver movie be doomed? Or are you talking about the Mufasa movie? Let's see, we talked about Snow White, we talked about Lilo and Stitch. Heard a bit about the upcoming Fantastic Four movie. I hope it's good, because I've heard usually the Fantastic Four movies are usually not so great, especially Fan Four Stick. Superhero team? No, that this got announced, but I haven't seen the Avatar sequel, so I don't really have much to say about Avatar Fire and Ash. I remember my sister saying that she thinks that the title is kind of strange, Fire and Ash. I think for now that's all, I could really see. The Iron Man, Captain. I don't follow Marvel super closely, so I don't think I would have much to say. I heard something about Hulk, like something about Harrison Ford or something like that. Let's see, maybe there's something in the trailer. Well, it's not really a trailer, it's more like a highlight reel of the things that they announced. There might be one more. I might take a look on my iPad to see if there was an announcement. I don't want to say the name of the movie in case I know it's in the works, but if they didn't talk about it at D23, then I don't want to. I'll save it for another time. Oh, okay. I thought I heard something about another movie, but I'm not sure if it was discussed at D23, so I might save it for another video if Disney makes some kind of announcement. But yeah, I think was that at Comic-Con where Robert Downey Jr. said that he's going to be the next Doctor Doom and that he's not coming back to play Iron Man. Again, I don't follow Marvel too closely, so correct me if I'm wrong. I did see Deadpool and Wolverine though, and I thought that movie was a lot of fun. Alright, since I think I went through a lot of the major announcements that Disney talked about at D23, I think I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you to those who have stopped by. I had a good time discussing these movies with you all, and I'm hoping to see trailers, especially for ones that are coming down the road, movies like, Incredibles 3, whenever that decides to come out. Frozen 3. I'm sure those trailers will come out closer to when those movies are being released. But yeah, it's still nice to know what Disney is up to. So thank you to those who have stopped by. If you enjoyed the stream, please follow me and subscribe to me on YouTube and ring the bell to be notified when I release new videos. Until next time, this has been Blood Moon Bobby, and thank you all for watching.